Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dress Up as Your Favorite Character. I mean, the Once Upon a Time As Seen on TV podcast, season 3, episode 3. Quite a common fairy. So, what'd you guys think of this episode?
I liked it. It's very good.
Yeah.
I like seeing Tinkerbell.
Oh yeah,
Just
definitely.
totally shined her in a whole different light.
Okay, so I'm your host, Dom.
Oh yeah.
Totally botching this intro here. Costumes totally distracted me. Lost my train of thought. I'm your host, Dom. With me, we have Gauntlet Master Mike.
I
We have Assassin's Creed Clio. And Lucille Ball.
Oh,
Vita Vita Benjamin.
Vita Vita Benjamin.
Rachel. So, yeah, so how'd you guys like the episode?
It's very good.
Yeah.
yeah, it
It was
was.
entertaining.
It was a good second,
Third?
third, whatever.
Season 3, episode 3. Yeah, I was actually surprised we were 3, and I thought we were at 2 myself. I
Yeah.
lost track of time. This show started before all the other shows that I've been watching. Everything else is still on 2. This one's on 3, so they're a little bit ahead.
They just throw everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? How dare they?
I know, right?
Because they can. Sunday
That's
night
our
lineup.
groove.
So we return back to Neverland, and we have Miss Swan and group. They're still looking for Henry. They find the camp keeps moving around.
Operation Henry.
Operation Henry,
Operation-
as Regina put it. Yes. So Emma's looking. She's like, Pan's playing tricks on us. They're moving the camp, so they're trying to find some other way to find Henry. They get the brilliant idea to try to locate Tinkerbell and use her magic to find it. In the meantime, we cut back to Pan's camp and we see what's going on there. And we see the Lost Boys playing some games. Peter sets up a game with an apple and wants Henry to shoot it off one of the Lost Boys' head. He laces the arrow with poison. Henry kind of questions why they would put poison on the arrow when it's just kind of a game for fun. Pan specifically states that it is to ensure you're not going to miss. So just after he says that, Henry lines up, aims it at the Lost Boy, and at the very last second turns it to Pan and fires away. Why do you think Henry decided to shoot it off at Pan instead of trying to follow his rules? Do you think he really thought he was going to kill Pan?
He
think
might
so.
have thought there was a chance.
Yeah,
As far
there's
as
a
the
slight
why.
chance.
Yeah, Pan's
But-
the big bad guy here who just kidnapped Henry,
Harry.
and
I'm
But
Harry.
I-
is holding him hostage for an
Dumbledore.
unknown reason.
Yeah, I bet Pan obviously knew it was coming. He knew that he was going to do this
Oh yeah, probably.
because, yeah, he knew Henry was going to go for him and not for the Lost Boy.
So
Henry
Pan,
still wants to get away. He still wants to go back to Emma and to Team
Yeah.
Swan.
Team Swan.
Team
Yeah,
Swan.
he's not. Pan knows he's not quite on his side yet, and Henry just wants to run away. He wants to get back.
So
But-
we were kind of thinking that as you spend more time on Wonderland, you kind of forget. We figured that was going to be the rules to go on, but Henry still seems fairly adamant that he wants to leave. He's got that in his mind. Then Peter pulls him aside and he's like, "Hey, what if you're the one that's special and not your mother? What if your mother was only special because she had you?" Starts playing some games with Henry's head. Gives him this scroll, says that I've had this since before you were born. At first, Henry wants absolutely nothing to do with it. You got me all messed up here. I'm thinking Harry now. Henry wants nothing to do with it. He throws it aside, but eventually he picks it up. He opens the scroll and he reveals it's an artist rendition, a sketch of his face. So, do you think that Henry's actually the savior of magic, or what?
It's something that I've never thought of, but why not?
I feel like it's sort of just like how Rumpel got Emma's name. Pan gets Henry's face, and he probably has a role, maybe not as the savior, but definitely a role in saving magic because it's threatened. These anti-magic people have come into Neverland trying to stop it.
Stupid fly. And he's a true believer. I mean, he believes. Maybe he's there to make his mom believe. Because can you imagine how much her power would be if she actually believed in herself?
But Mike, what do you think is happening to magic itself that it actually needs saving from? Because you have Pan himself. He's the one that brought these people that are trying to destroy magic to Neverland. So it's not just there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah. As far as the people who are just trying to destroy magic, you're talking about what are their names? Tamara and whatever that guy's name is.
Who cares?
Yes, that was his
Who cares? They're dead.
Dead man?
See, they believe they were working for a big organization trying to destroy magic. Really, they were just working for Peter Pan. So I don't think there is a big organization trying to destroy it or anything like that. But why
I
is
think he was just trying to get them to get.
Yeah, it was a means to an end.
Okay,
But
yeah.
as far as why is it threatened, who knows? Less people practicing magic, less people believing in it.
Just clap your hands if you believe.
Yeah, too many people exploiting portals. I have no idea. It could be threatened for any number of reasons.
Well, I mean, if you think about now, I mean, I guess I'm the only one here that has a kid. Kids grow up way too fast and they stop believing in this stuff. So when you stop believing in it, it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, after so many generations, it's completely gone.
Jasper, do you believe in magic? He doesn't give a fuck. He's sleeping.
My kiddo still believes in Santa Claus, and she's
exactly.
far older than I was when I stopped believing. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, my daughter 9 still asks me, you know, are these things still real? And I love that because she's not losing that childhood. She's not losing the quote unquote magic that we all had when we were kids.
What do you think is actually taking that away from us? Is it just growing up and you stop believing somewhere? Why do we stop believing along the way?
I don't know where I
Kids
heard
have
it.
to grow up faster. They want to be like people they see on TV.
I don't know where I heard it, but someone said that kids grow up, they just trade something fake to believe in. You know, like kids believe in magic and grown-ups believe in different things, but they're still not necessarily true. So I guess they just trade different belief systems as they get older.
Yeah, I can see that. So, in terms of magic that we've seen, we kind of learned that fairy dust is some of the most powerful magic, but now we're told pixie dust is actually a lot stronger. So, just how strong is pixie dust? And why haven't we seen the fairies use this before?
Yeah, we've only seen what Tinkerbell used it for. We haven't seen it do anything else. It could be that it's just too powerful, and maybe the fairies are afraid of what it can do, and then it might not necessarily always be good.
But also another question is, what the heck is it made out of? Because if it's that powerful, why hasn't it been used or brought up before? I mean, there have been plenty of opportunities where a little bit of pixie dust would have come in handy, probably. So, I mean, fairy dust is made out of what? Ground up diamonds? More or less?
More or less.
Yeah,
I think it was something in the dwarves mine it.
Dwarves mine the diamonds and it's ground up the fairy dust. What the hell is pixie dust made out of? Is it made up of ground up pixies?
Maybe it's something made of something that isn't very abundant. So they have to use it sparingly.
That's definitely a possibility.
It also seems like the blue fairy doesn't want to use it at all. It could be like if you use pixie dust, then there's always going to be a negative thing
just
to
like
whatever
magic.
you use it for. Yeah, there's going to be,
there's going to be.
So maybe the consequence is much worse for using the pixie dust.
Yeah.
Well, look what happened. She used the pixie dust, and look what happened to her.
Yeah. So we see Tinkerbell go to Blue, who we've seen previously from the very beginning of Once Upon a Time. So now Blue keeps calling Tinkerbell Green, and she keeps demanding that her name is not Green, that it's Tinkerbell. So instantly, I started thinking of Sleeping Beauty. I don't know if you guys started thinking that. And I'm thinking maybe Tinkerbell and Blue are actually Fauna and Merryweather, and we haven't met Flora yet.
Never thought about that. That's an interesting
'Cause
concept.
isn't there another one that's
There,
the
there's
third one that's
there's
pink?
Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Flora is the red one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, because we've seen the other fairy. What is her name? Abigail, I think. I forget that episode.
Oh, the one that fell in love with Grumpy.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So there are
She
3
was
fairies
pink.
we know of. She is pink.
Yeah, so maybe
Oh, well,
she
she's
is
a type of
Flora.
red.
Maybe she's Flora.
Maybe.
So maybe those are the 3. So maybe because they're kind of focusing a little more on Sleeping Beauty now. Like we had this whole little Sleeping Beauty, Mulan, Prince David love triangle thing going on.
Prince Philip.
Philip, David, yeah, whatever. They're the same name.
Don't get me started. I'm gonna fangirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and fangirl.
That was total shock.
It wasn't a shock. No, I've been shipping Mulan and Aurora since like they appeared on screen together.
Oh really?
Oh yes.
So speaking of which, there seems to be a little something going on between Mulan and Aurora.
Yes.
Would
I
you
think
guys
it
like to
was
talk
more on
about this for a
Mulan's
minute?
part.
Yes, please. Can we?
Go for it.
Go for
Talk
it.
about it.
I was so
Okay.
happy. Mulan was gonna go and confess her love, and bitch, it's not fair.
I think it was more on Mulan's part than it was on Aurora's part. But that happens.
That Aurora's pregnant.
No, that Mulan had more feelings for Aurora than Aurora had feelings for her.
Yes.
definitely.
So
That's
they're
why,
just
Definitely.
different feelings.
that's why it broke my heart that Aurora didn't feel the same way.
Well, she never really told her.
We don't know if she feels the same way or not. It's
That's
never
true,
discussed.
but she felt enough towards Philip to
Have a baby.
yep, get burgers.
She could be repressing some kind of feelings
You're right,
because
she could,
because
but
of
the fact now is
expectations.
that she's with Philip and she has a child, and there's more reason for her to stay with Philip.
Oh yeah.
Just-
But if that was the case, why would they kind of set this up now?
I feel like
Maybe
it was set
Mulan
up from
finds
the
someone
beginning. I
else.
feel like-
So you feel like this was set up in the beginning and this is the conclusion of it? Because to me, this seems like the opening of a brand new chapter for it.
Oh, it does. Well, I mean, finding out who Robin Hood is compared to like the lead characters now.
Are we still talking about Mulan?
Well, Mulan joins his merry men.
Right,
They're
right.
not gonna end it right there because then you find out that Robin Hood was the guy with the was a lion tattoo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do some.
Yeah.
I say that's.
I don't know. I see
Play more on
Mulan
that.
and Aurora. I see that the beginning for them because Mulan finally has gotten up the courage that she wants to tell Aurora. Aurora has not said no or anything. Like she hasn't even had a chance to give her side of it.
Yeah, because she doesn't know.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't
So
know.
maybe things will change when she finds out because they're not gonna have Mulan go to tell her, not tell her, and then that's just the end of it, and
Yeah, no,
those
of course
characters
not.
never see each other. So, like I said, this seems like the
Yeah.
opening, the beginning of this chapter. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something that they're gonna come back to later on.
Yeah, but it feels like it's gonna be later on because she's Mulan's now running away from this this sort of rejection that she feels Mulan has given her.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So, speaking of keeping secrets, we have Prince Charming, who last week got shot with an arrow in the side, and he's got this poison dream shade seeping through his system. Was it just me, or did they not make a single reference to it other than the very beginning of the show? Like,
Didn't Hook and Charming have a whole conversation about it?
Yeah, they did.
did
Yeah,
I
it was
miss
at the
that?
beginning.
Side and said, "Hey, I know you can't hide that shit from me."
I must have actually missed that scene somehow.
Yeah, and he was like, "You need to tell her because you have a week, days, weeks at the most."
Yeah. And I don't think Charming's gonna tell her because
No,
he
'cause
thinks it'll be better that way. But
Oh,
it's not.
He,
doesn't
he's
understand
putting
that-
all his eggs
better.
in the basket of finding the pixie dust.
yeah. So, it seems to me that if that's the case, because I obviously missed the scene, but Hook not going out and saying something that kind of proves that he could be trusted to Charming. So you see their bond getting a little stronger. I know this is something we were starting to discuss last week, that it was going to take a little bit, and already seems like it's starting to, they're mending things right off the bat next episode.
I mean, I think that's just I don't think that Charming may see, okay, Hook's, you know, taking an interest trying to help, but I still don't think Charming's gonna trust him. You know,
it's gonna be a while.
He still sees Hook as the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, they see in black and white. There's either good guys or bad guys. There's nothing in the middle right now for them. They're fairy tale characters, and in fairy tales, there's just a good guy and there's a bad guy. There's nothing in between.
But we're learning very quickly that it's not the case at all.
No, real world
Hook
is different.
seems more like a good guy. Regina's starting to seem more like good girl with a few problems that went wrong, and she just kind of snapped. That she could possibly be somewhere in redemption.
Well, she was never.
Tinkerbell even saw it in her.
Yeah, she was never. Her mom made her that way. Put all this shit in her head, you know. All this doubt and doubting herself and doubting that she could do stuff without, you know, black magic and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's become far too reliant on that, and she keeps trying to say, it's so easy. Let me just use magic.
Mm-hmm. It's the way she's always fixed things in the past.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have those coping skills to do it without.
So, like, Tinkerbell, she really sees it in Regina. She sees that there's something there. She's not this mean person that everybody points her out, and she goes out of her way to try to help Regina, and Regina lies directly to her face. But do you think Tinkerbell's desire to help is actually making her into a bad fairy, or is the blue fairy just being a bitch?
I don't think the blue fairy's being a bitch, but I do think the blue fairy's biased. She sees Regina and she knows the path that Regina's taking is dark, and the blue fairy's very much light magic. So she's want her magic and her fairies to get involved with that.
And on the other hand, it sounds like Tinkerbell wasn't like a full-on pixie. She was still in training. She still had things to learn, and she was just like gung-ho, which is, you know, a good attribute, but when you don't know the whole story, it's kind of what, you know, blinders on.
Mike, you've been pretty quiet.
I'm just thinking on this. Yeah, I guess Blue Fairy seems to be a bit harsh, but then, you know, you made a good point that, you know, she knows the path Regina is going down is dark. And also, my question is, how many fairies are there? Are there... Because we saw Tinkerbell goes up to this... I'm guessing it's the fairyland or whatever. She goes up into the sky and there's a bunch of flowers. She tries to sneak into a green flower, which matches her color, and there's the blue fairy waiting in it for her. So has each one of those flowers got a fairy in it? Because if so, that's a lot of friggin' fairies.
That's what I was thinking too. Well,
yeah.
If you watch the Tinkerbell movies, they help, you know, bring the seasons. So there has to be a lot of them.
Yeah. Probably a lot of fairies.
I wonder if they'll bring any of those Tinkerbell's little fairies into the thing.
Joys of having a child.
Armies of fairies.
Armies.
I remember at one point Tinkerbell was going to be a Disney princess or something like that, but then Disney decided she wasn't a princess, and
that would be weird.
They threw her into a new fairy lineup or something, and now there's like 3 fairies or something. I'm not even sure. Well, I mean, like in that direct line, yeah.
There's like 5.
See, I don't know. Yeah. Why do you think they chose not to make her a princess and went with the fairy route? Just out of curiosity.
Because if you're gonna make a pixie a princess, you might as well make Kita a princess, and they're not gonna do that because she's actually a princess.
Yeah. So what is Tinkerbell now that she's actually lost her wings? Is she still a fairy, or?
She's still a fairy. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how that.
Question. It's like, how much of the fairiness still remains?
Well, she's full size. She has no wings. She has no magic. To me, she just seems human.
She probably is just human.
Yeah, but I bet she could probably get all that back.
Yeah, and I'm not sure just
if you believe.
The magic.
So is that what caused her to lose her powers and wings and everything? Was people stopped believing in her? Because that's kind of what you alluded at.
The blue fairy stopped believing in her, told her straight out, I don't believe you anymore, and poof, there went her wings.
And I instantly yelled at the screen, I believe in fairies.
That didn't work, did it?
No, it did not at all.
Unfortunately.
It
So
did seem kind of out of place when Mary Margaret said, well, I believe in you. And to me, it sounded very weird.
No, I think that's very Mary Margaret.
Well, I know not. I mean, in that time, in that section right there, it seemed kind of odd.
Well, I believe in you.
Like, just
Yeah,
I
saying.
believe because she's like, you just met her, you don't really know. But yeah, Mary Margaret is like that.
Yeah,
But
Mary Margaret is a very off-the-cuff believing person.
So, are you surprised when Regina... Basically, it was revealed that the whole trusting thing and Regina didn't... She lied to Tinkerbell and all this stuff. And then Tinkerbell had Regina in this position where she could kill her very, very easily. Did it surprise you guys when Regina reached into her own chest and pulled her own heart out and put it in Tinkerbell's hands? Like, that was an unexpected move to me from
it was
from Tinkerbell.
unexpected, but very calculated.
It was.
I don't think she thought that she knew Tinkerbell wouldn't do it.
I didn't think
Because-
she would have.
Oh,
I don't think she would have cared if she did.
probably not at this point. She
Regina's
has
still
nothing to
on,
lose.
yeah, and she's still trying to find redemption, and giving Tink that power, putting her life in her hands, kind of makes or breaks that. She'll either forgive her or she won't. She'll kill her.
Yeah. So we also go back to the castle. We go back to Rumpelstiltskin Castle. They're trying to find a way to Neverland. Baelfire's tearing the place up. And then Robin Hood's merry men come in, followed by Robin Hood's son. And
So cute.
I was very surprised to see Robin Hood's son.
Yeah.
Because the way I had always remembered the Robin Hood story is Robin Hood did not have a son, but he had a daughter. So,
really?
yeah.
Oh.
So I was kind of interested on why they chose to go with a son rather than a daughter, like the traditional tellings.
Because Pan only takes boys.
Oh. Good
Yeah.
point. I was gonna say
So
to
if they
drop
made
parallel.
him a girl, then there's less likely chance that Pan's shadow or whoever's shadow it is gonna take him.
I thought it was because to draw a parallel to Henry.
It
So
might. Yeah,
Well-
that too.
Yeah. Why do you
His
think?
son.
Why do you think Robin Hood was so trusting of Baelfire in the first place to put his son in danger?
He wasn't
at first.
trusting. He said, "Who helped your wife?" He's basically cashing in his father's debt. You know,
Yeah.
cashing in the debt that Robin Hood owed his father.
I missed that part.
Yeah, he basically said, "Who helped your wife when she was very sick until your son, was delivered?" He just goes, "Your father," and he just looked at him, and he was just fine one time.
But still, you have to have some amount of trust. Even on a debt like that, that is your son. You have to have some kind of trust. So why, despite that, why do you think he had some trust in Baelfire whatsoever? This is someone he barely knows.
Maybe it wasn't so much Bayfire, maybe it was Mulan. Maybe he knew that she wouldn't let anything happen to him.
That's possible too.
You know,
Maybe.
There's- you can go all over the place with that one.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. I just think it was an effect. It seemed like a pretty clever way to get there. Just kid is bait. Shadow comes to grab kid. You grab Shadow.
Yeah. Just, it seemed like when the shadow came in, scooped the toddler up, and they took off out the window, I was like, there's no way he could reach the shadow by then. Like, the shadow's long gone. He waited too long to jump out. It just that seems a little unbelievable to me.
I thought he was gonna fall flat on his face.
That would have been hysterical to me.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But you see him, he goes in, and he just kind of lets go in the middle of the woods. I was like, does this guy have a death wish? Do you
I
think?
know, right?
What was up with that?
I think he could have chose his landing a bit better because he lands right in front of what's his name, one of the Lost Boys,
Is his name
Oh.
Felix?
Felix, I think.
Yes, it is Felix.
He
But then
just
how
like
did Felix
lands.
know that he was there? How did he know exactly where he's going to land?
Either Felix and a few of the Lost Boys have some sort of magical ability to move around very, very quickly, or Balefire just literally landed 5 feet in front of him, and Felix is just like, oh, look at the shadow.
Or they have some connection with the shadow. All of
That's
them do.
possible that they know when the shadow's going out to pick something. To pick
Or
something
maybe
up.
the shadow can tell them if he wants. Hey, I got this dude.
I got this dude.
Still convinced it's Rumpelstiltskin's shadow. I'm still convinced.
Find out.
I think it's been corrupted. I think it's still his, but I think it's been corrupted to... Pan found some way to control it, but I still think it's his. I don't know.
We'll see.
But like you said, the Lost Boys have to have some kind of ability to move around, because you saw when Emma was looking at the map that the location was just kind of flashing. It was jumping all over the place. So there's no way they were in one spot.
Well, they have to know where pixie dust is because he had it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they're doing it. Maybe they control it right now.
Yeah.
It's
or maybe they've become part of the Pan
collective
link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of us.
One of us.
Maybe they share the same mind.
Maybe. But Regina mentions at that moment when she gets a little snippy with the magic and stuff like that. She makes some kind of remark at Emma's boyfriend, and
see, I told you.
Do you think there's a Emma
triangle?
Do you think Emma's future Emma Hook?
No, there's gonna be a triangle.
There's a lot of flirting, and I have shipped them for a while just because it's kind of hot, but I don't think it. I don't know. I don't think they would work. They'd tear each other apart.
Yeah.
I think that might be the way they would.
There's gonna probably be a little bit of romance there, and then when Emma finds out that Balefire's still alive, or Neil's still alive, she's just gonna be like, "But Hook? Who's Hook?" And just be so focused, and Hook's gonna be just left out in the pouring rain right there, and
that's gonna send him over the edge. I can see it already.
And that's gonna hurt because I like Hook.
Yeah.
I do too.
So, speaking of unlikely matches, as Rachel had pointed out, but they directly stated that Regina and Robin Hood are soulmates. What do you guys think of that?
I can't wrap my mind around that. I can't wrap my mind around it.
I have an opinion about that. I think the pixie dust was showing her at that moment
True.
And at that moment, her and
Robin
Hood. I almost called him Peter Pan. Her and Robin Hood.
She's a pedophile now.
Would have worked. They would have been happy. I think now, probably not.
Too much damage. I mean, like Tinkerbell said, not only did she ruin her life, she ruined his by not going to him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think necessarily his life is ruined. It's different. He may have lost his wife, but he has a son.
Yeah, I just think they're both in completely different places
now. He might not have been an outlaw. He might not have, all this stuff that happened afterwards. And same with her. Maybe if she would have went with him, she wouldn't have, all the black magic, all the darkening. Maybe she wouldn't have gone that way.
Yeah.
Possible.
That's if she had followed that path in that moment.
Mm-hmm. She's just scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She missed a chance.
So
it's probably gone forever.
Do you think this is going to be something that we see Regina trying to push later on, as soon as she finds out who the tattooed man is? Do you think she's going to try to push herself onto Robin Hood and get disappointed all over again?
Yeah, it could be.
I think she's going to kind of freak out. She's going to be like, "Oh my gosh.
Holy crap, it's a guy with that lion tattoo."
Yeah, she's going to freak out when if they win. Well, they're going to meet. They're going to have to. They're going to have to do that storyline. There's no way around it.
So which one do you think is going to be worse? Emma and Hook, or Regina and Robin Hood? Or Mulan and Aurora?
I feel like Mulan and Aurora, if they can get past everything that's between them now, will work. Even if like Regina and Robin Hood get past what's between them now, I don't think they'd work for a lot of different reasons.
she's too far deep down
Yeah.
into that hole.
I mean, but I don't think she's past redemption. I just think it's probably too late for whatever could have been with Hood.
Oh yeah. As
So-
for Mulan and Aurora, I don't know. I see Aurora thinking her as like a sister, that best friend. I don't think I've ever seen anything Aurora in her that would go, maybe.
Well, Mulan has touched her heart, literally.
Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that she has romantic feelings for her.
We don't know. She could be suppressing them. It
She
could be
could
just
be.
something
It could
she's
be.
distracted with because of Prince.
Well, maybe it's a sense of duty to Philip. She feels like she owes him
We
because
lost.
he woke her up, or
We lost
or-
Clio.
oh no,
Cleo's
no.
disappeared.
the other voice in this, since Mike's not talking much.
I'm letting you guys go. You two have a lot of things to say.
What is Mike doing here?
Hey,
Clio
So-
has disappeared.
I think I'm back. Am I back
You're
yet?
back,
You're
but
back.
not
Okay.
your camera.
Now my camera? Okay.
She's just a
Technical
disembodied
difficulties.
voice.
Disembodied voice is trying to come back.
Disembodied voice is
Yeah?
returning.
There she
Yeah.
is.
Disembodied
Yeah.
voice is returned.
Right.
So
I'm a professional.
you are. So if everything goes south, I mean, there's always the chance that Robin Hood and Hook could hook up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A pirate and a bandit.
No?
No.
That's an awesome prospect.
It is.
That might be some sexy porn, but no.
So on that note,
Dance on it.
any other final thoughts? You're
Um,
welcome.
I'm gonna start the
Oh,
Robin
yes,
Hood and Hook need to be a thing.
I'm sorry I
In
said
our
anything.
episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, we were talking about how other would there be characters from regular Once Upon a Time, crossing over and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the creators at Comic-Con said, yeah, Korra's probably gonna come to Wonderland.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like, at least to me from what I saw, Jafar might come to Once Upon a Time. Because in the scene where Tink is talking to Regina at like the tavern or whatever, I thought I saw Jafar. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of Jafar in some of the backstory of Once Upon a Time.
That's very interesting. I didn't see that.
I'm actually gonna have to go back and watch to make sure, because
Yeah, he's in like
Yeah, me
long dark robes and he's got the, curly Jafar hair.
yeah.
There was a time when she was talking just before she made Regina pass out. I thought it said, but you're not going to get my help or whatnot. But I closed caption it says your. But it sounded like she said, you guys, like I'm not going to help any of you.
Hmm.
Maybe it was not written that way. I don't know. It was just like I had to replay that a couple times.
Another possible crossover that hit my mind was when Tinkerbell knocked Regina out. She used Regina said, "Oh, you used some kind of plant to knock me out. You used poppies."
Yeah.
Puppies.
So that instantly made me think of the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of waiting for some Wizard of Oz in Once
I'm
Upon a
also
Time
wondering
here.
what went
And-
on with her and Hook.
Tink and Hook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a thing.
Yeah, they
You
must
can
have.
tell there was something between them, like some tension, things that didn't end well.
That'd be nice to see in backstory.
Yeah, well, I think we'll get some of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the Peter Pan the movie, Hook captures Tinkerbell.
That's true. Maybe he captured her and was a bit of Stockholm syndrome there. Maybe he and her had a thing while she was the prisoner, and I don't know.
Never
Maybe.
know.
It
Never
definitely
know.
didn't end well because the two of them, he's all smiles and she's looking at him like, "Oh
Bastard.
God, kill me now."
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there's lots of little offshoots you could go into. But yeah, the poppies thing was like immediately Wizard of Oz. I'm like, seriously?
Well,
Yeah,
Oz
and
will
in
get you
the
well.
Sleep.
episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, they were walking would look like a yellow brick road.
They were. I noticed
Yeah.
that as well.
So
Maybe Oz is Wonderland.
or maybe the yellow brick road connects a bunch of different lands like Agrabah and Oz and Wonderland.
Yeah, because there, what, in Wizard of Oz, there was how many different paths to go?
Yeah.
Multiple.
That'd be really cool to see.
It would.
Mhm.
Indeed it was. We're definitely not in Kansas anymore.
We never were in Kansas.
But it'd be really interesting to see
That's
if they
true.
do the Wizard of Oz, what their personalities are going to be like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Their take on it's gonna be.
Since everything else so far has been so not what you imagine. Like Mema says, you know,
Bless you,
in
John.
books, like Peter Pan in all the books, we know it was not the bad guy.
Right.
And things are
Yeah, that would
completely
make me
different.
really interested. Maybe the wizard's a tyrant. Maybe the wizard's not really a wizard. Well, yeah.
Well,
Well,
in
then again,
Wicked, that's how it is.
Well, I was
In
going to
Wicked,
say, after the wizard was gone, the scarecrow took over.
So maybe Oz is a land ruled by a tyrannical scarecrow.
You never know. It depends on when they decide to put that in that timeline.
And on that note, I'm off to see the wizard. Mike, where can the people find you?
The people could find me on Twitter at Philodren, Thilladren.
You look like a raptor.
Cleo, where can the
You
people
can find
find
me
you?
on most social media as Cliomoto, Cliomoto, and you can look at my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/LIOSMFVIDS.
Got it. And Rachel.
You can find me on Twitter at Savannah17. That's SEVANNA.
And you can follow us on youtube.com/ASOTV for more podcasts of some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week, we're off to see the wizard. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.